Scanning for audio.
Welcome once again to the Tin Dog Podcast. This time it's me, at lunchtime, sitting in my car, talking to you, my beloved and probably attractive listener. Gonna have a chat with you now about Big Finish's Deathworld, if that's alright with you. 8.1. Now these are down as the Lost Stories. Remember those? Ah, yes. Now apparently it's Dave Martin, no longer with us, Bob Baker, no longer with us, adapted by John Dorney, starring John Coulshaw and Fraser Hines. Is it though? Because it's actually the Three Doctors. Let's look at the synopsis, shall we? The Doctor was dead, to begin with, killed alongside his beloved Joe Grant in an explosion in the unit labs. But Time Lords are notoriously hard to kill, because with unit under siege, the Brigadier is rescued by two familiar faces. The Doctor he first encountered fighting the Yeti, and Jamie McCrimmon, with yet one more waiting in the wings. They're all pawns in a deadly game of chess, played by a being more powerful than any they've encountered before. And when you battle with Death himself, can anyone ever win? Adapted from the original treatment by Bob Baker and Dave Martin for what later became the TV episode The Three Doctors. Now here's the important bit. This title is strictly limited to 2,000 copies. I'm guessing that's 2,000 physical copies. So, here's the thing. You've basically got this story done as if this was the Three Doctors. Now at the end, there is the possibility that this story actually happened and then the Three Doctors takes place. Because you're dealing with one of those characters who's a bit more like the Toymaker and is just terrifyingly powerful, and then the Omega story has to happen. So that's one thing that we're leaning towards. But what you've got is you've got your Big Finish first Three Doctors all doing a cracking job. Now, okay, so everyone knows about my love of the Tim Treloar Third Doctor. Very, very impressed. Michael Troughton's Second Doctor. Now, here's the thing. I was discussing this at Hooverville with Siobhan. Michael's take on the Second Doctor has evolved at an exponential rate since the beginning of his time playing the parts. If you thought, oh, sounds a bit like the Second Doctor. No, here you've definitely got more of the true essence. You've got Michael's performance. Michael is playing the Second Doctor. He is not impersonating his dad. But the Second Doctor's voice goes up and down and has often moments of complete depth and gravitas, as well as the high fun aspects, which was what I was emphasising early in performance. Here you've definitely got much more of the darkness. And, of course, you've got the classic, that is a big one, Jamie, and all of those great catchphrases. Now, it's the First Doctor, who is playing by Stephen Noonan, who I am the least familiar with. I'm going to put my hands up now and say that straight off. I'm also, in all honesty, least familiar with the actual First Doctor. Yes, I've watched or listened to every single of the First Doctor's stories. But the last time I did The Great Pilgrimage was a decade ago, when I was doing all of the final research for Whostrology, when I had to watch every single story. So it's been a while. And I, like most people probably listening to this, have a version of the First Doctor that comes a lot from the Three Doctors or that kind of thing. And then we've also got the black and whites, which exist in our lovely box sets. But you know what I mean. You've got that First Doctor persona in your head. So you really have to come to terms, no, that implies that Stephen's version of the First Doctor is wrong and is far away, and it's not. It's a lot closer than some reviewers will ever let on. And the beauty of this plot is, this release is there's actually the Billy Fluffs, as they were known for his mistakes, which may or may not have been 100% mistakes all the time, actually included as part of the performance, which is a clever enough trick if you choose to follow it. Big fan of this release, genuinely, because let's face it, everyone's got a soft spot for the Three Doctors. And if you like the Three Doctors, you might as well get this, because it's very, very different. The main character, who's introduced at the beginning, playing chess, and let's go down a Bergman book on that one, route. But beyond that, you've also got, well, see, I don't want to spoil it. I want to say that there are other characters whose similar voices now similarly mystical and mythical. And then you've got other people from further pantheons involved, and all of which are hugely powerful in a kind of a Sandman kind of a way. In fact, that's probably the best analogy or parallel to bring to this review. So yes, if you like the Three Doctors, you're gonna like this anyway. But if you want to see how very, very different this is from the Three Doctors, and how you got from this to the Three Doctors is, well, it's a hell of a jump, then that is very good. So what we're actually left with is going, hey, this is great, but you know what? The unsung hero of the piece isn't even going to be Trelawney, any of the people playing the Doctors, which are great. Fraser's brilliant in this. And you know what? The Brig, the works, all of it's lovely. But the bit worthy of mention is how good John Doney's script is. It's so good, you actually go, oh yeah, this wasn't written by Baker and Martin at all. It's from their treatment. But John Doney's produced a very, very tightly structured, beautifully performed, beautifully paced piece, and that cannot be underestimated. So as far as I'm concerned, you would be kicking yourselves if you don't get this. Be one of the 2,000 and get the physical release. You could always get it signed at conventions. So until then, here's the trailer. It's not the Three Doctors, but by God, it's the Three Doctors. Be seeing you.
Did you know that the game of chess exists in some form or other in almost every advanced civilization across the galaxy?
From Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, The Lost Stories, Deathworld.
If you wouldn't mind, I am in the middle of a fascinating experiment.
Trap 1, come in. Can't have reached the base already. No! No!
Brigadier, I think I understand. I suspect you're in my future. And if I'm right, that means there's another me around.
You are not the Doctor.
Oh, but I think you'll find that I am, sir.
What, so there's three of you?
I can't interfere with my own future, Brigadier. The consequences could be disastrous.
Doctor?
Doctor? Doctor!
Oh, my word.
Jamie?
Good day, Alistair.
Good grief. You're...
Yes. You are face to face with death. And like that, the final king falls into my hands.
You fool, Doctor. You fool.
Now the real battle begins.
Joe, where are you?
And who's this Joe?
Oh, no, not you.
Would you two stop prattling away at each other, whoever you are?
Oh, no. Not you.
You too?
Yes.
Where are we?
I am the end of all life, and you are now entering my domain. Welcome to Deathworld.
Big Finish, for the love of stories.
That was the Tin Dog Podcast. Everything discussed is the intellectual property of others. No infringement is intended. For early access to reviews, follow the show on YouTube or Twitter @Tin Dog Podcast. To contact the show, email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.